So I have a really important question for you. Are you following your bliss? Are you being true to yourself? If you're not, you're wanting to stay tuned to this next episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living, where my guest is going to show you how to follow your bliss and empower you financially.
Frankie Lee, dimmi, quale senso della vita?
The meaning of life is to live la dolce vita, which is the formula for fabulous living.
Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita Show, the formula for fabulous living. I'm the catalyst in helping you to be more confident, create your dream business, and attract elite clients and live a fabulous life. Here's Heather helping you to upgrade your life to
Fabulous. Upgrade your life to fabulous. Right, Frankie? You're fabulous.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Yes, I love saying that. I like to feel that I'm a little bit Italian, but I'm actually 0% Italian. I know. Shocking. But I really have fun with it. And, you know, this show is all about finding your formula to make your business and your life work. And today we're going to be talking about the Blissful Wealth Formula with my guest, Moneeka Sawyer. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a best-selling author of a book called Choose Bliss. And she's been featured on many TV shows, too many to name, CBS, ABC, CW, many of the podcast shows out there. And and she's the creator of the Blissful the Blissful Real Estate Investor Formula. So her thing is that she empowers women to retire rich using the vehicle of real estate investing. So Moneeka, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me, Heather. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So, you know, I kind of like to have fun. You know, I like to have fun, but I also believe in being serious and talking about building wealth. So I know a lot of women out there, they might be an entrepreneur or they want to empower themselves, you know. So if you go around the wheel of life, you know, being empowered financially is really important. So before we go into that, I was wondering if you could share with everyone your story and how you evolved in being where you are today and empowering women with real estate investing.
Perfect. So I first just want to start by saying I hate fun. I am the author of Choose Bliss and I'm a total fraud. And my husband always says, you hate fun. I just want you to know.
Okay.
But we've traveled to 55 countries. We're playing all the time. So, you know, that's not true, but whatever. That's our standing joke is that I hate fun because my whole life is about it. Anyways, so, you know, when I was a kid, I was born in an area where I was the only person who was not white. And so I got bullied, tormented, and humiliated constantly. And so it became my journey to really find a way to have joy and happiness in my life in spite of how I was getting treated by the world and what my circumstances were. And things just seemed to get worse and worse and worse as I got older. You know, there are horrible things that boys do to teenage girls that happened. And I really struggled with this feeling of life just couldn't be this way. Like this, it can't just keep staying this way. Mm. So I evolved and changed and did my own studying and created a way to be now what I define as bliss, in spite of the world, right? Like it was all about me. And we hear this all the time, right? Happiness is an inside job. I'm here to tell you it's true. Like there's so many things out there that can help us and support that and elevate that. But the truth is that happiness is really a choice and it's up to us. And I became an executive coach with entrepreneurs. And one of the things that I found with all these really successful entrepreneurs was that the big problem with their company was that they weren't happy anymore. They weren't happy inside. And so if the company wasn't performing up to their standard, now they weren't happy. They were at the mercy of the success of their business. And if the business wasn't doing well or it wasn't inspiring anymore, their marriages were falling apart. Their lives were falling apart. Things just weren't working. And then their businesses would do even worse. It was kind of cyclical. And for the entrepreneurs on this show, you kind of know what I'm talking about, right? So I became a bliss coach for these big executives. And just to show you, money does not buy happiness. These guys were all millionaires, right? And they were still like, life sucks. So,
and I want to clarify, because a lot of times when people think the word bliss, they say, oh, let's just be happy all the time. So if you can clarify that, it's not about you have to be happy 24/7, because you and I both know that's just not true.
That's right. Thank you for asking that question for clarity. Bliss is that deep sense of joy and contentment and absolute confidence that you can handle anything that comes your way. It's emotional mastery and emotional resilience, so that your life works the way that you want. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have the emotional extremes from ecstasy to depression, right? We go to those places, but you keep coming back to that baseline of bliss. And because you have the skills to do that, you're okay with going to those places and having the full experience of life, because you're not afraid of the consequences, which so many of us are afraid of, right? So anyway, so that's how I define bliss.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit of story, how you got started in real estate investing, because I think your story is pretty interesting, and it started with your parents.
Yeah. So first, why do I focus on real estate? The big thing, one of the issues that I found that a lot of people had around bliss was it's really hard to be blissful if I'm broke, if I don't have money, financial stability. And I found that I was hearing it so much that then became a big part of my practice. So that's why I talk about this now. But how did I get started? So my parents came to this country as immigrants, as newlyweds, with hope to create a better future for themselves. And my dad had heard that the golden ticket to wealth in the United States was to buy real estate. So as soon as they could, they bought their first house. And then I was born, and with their hearts, new parents, right? Their hearts were full of joy and hope and excitement. And they decided that they were going to invest in real estate to make my life the best that it could be. So they started saving their nickels and dimes. My mom took all her beautiful Indian fabrics and would make the curtains for her windows and the cushions for her sofa so she could decorate and have a beautiful home like us.
It sounds like the sound of music.
I know. But as women, we love our houses, right? But she didn't want to spend a lot of money because she was saving, right? And when I was 3, they bought their first investment property. So it was so exciting for them. And then fast forward 18 years or 15 years for me, and they were able to pay through their real estate investing for the college education of their first little girl at UC Berkeley. What That's awesome. Glorious reward, right? And then they got to pay for my wedding. They did the same for both of my sisters. They got to be the people in the world that they wanted to be. They got to uphold their own values of taking care of their family, of being the kind of parents that they wanted to be, right? So it was awesome. So when I graduated from college, I had this fear that how was I going to make the money to have the lifestyle that I wanted? How was I going to ever get to retire? Was I going to have to work till I was 65? Kind of what you learn in college, right? You're going to bust your butt till you're 65 and hopefully you'll have enough. to be able to retire, right? In the meantime, your lifestyle is just going to be what you can afford, right? So there was a lot of fear in me around that. And I had a conversation with my dad one day. So my husband and I bought my first house after I got married. And then we were moving up in the world and we were buying the next house. And I needed to decide at this point if I wanted to sell the current house or rent it out. And I was really afraid because although real estate had served my family a lot, my dad had experienced a lot of stress around it. He was always stressed out about money. I was always hearing about his horrible tenants. And so that created a lot of fear in me. As you know, anybody who's ever invested in real estate, they can kind of relate to that.
It's really interesting, Moneeka. You mentioned a really interesting point, and this is, I know a lot of women can relate to this, is that taking on the beliefs of their parents around money and injecting the fear into you, and you were able to break that cycle.
Right. And I'll tell you the story of the night that cycle broke. So I was having a lot of fear. And so I sat down with my dad and I was like, Dad, I don't know what to do. And across the kitchen table, he says to me, you know, Moneeka, everybody has money issues. Do you want poor people money issues or do you want rich people money issues? Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome.
Like, what an amazing perspective. And in that moment, like when he said that, something changed. And I decided fear was not going to rule my life. And I was not going to take on those beliefs. And I was going to have rich people issues, right?
And now you have them. Woohoo!
Now I got them, yay! So I started investing in real estate. I kept that house. And I've developed systems so that the experience is joyful for me. Easy. I only spend like 5 to 10 hours a month, not a week, a month to build this business. And I've gone from $10,000 to well over $2 million in net worth because of staying with my systems. Bliss is what I'm all about, right? I wrote the book, Choose Bliss. So included in the system, integrated into the system is how to make it a joyful experience, how to make it support the joy in your life rather than sucking the life out of you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing to entrepreneurs. We as entrepreneurs hustle. We work really, really hard. And I know, because I'm also an entrepreneur. And we hope that our businesses will do really, really well enough to retire us, well enough to pay for our kids' college educations, well enough for our life to be well taken care of. The problem is that hope does not pay for college educations and retirement. Planning does, right? So as an entrepreneur, we stay so focused financially and mentally and emotionally on our businesses that we don't pay attention to what's going, sort of the ecosystem of our life, right? So I always encourage entrepreneurs to take a look at what are some other streams of income that they can bring into their world to create the support and the structure so that they'll have wealth when they need it. And that provides a lot of different things. First of all, suddenly you're not so worried about your future and you can relax.
Right? Absolutely.
You've got it handled, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing is it allows you, now that you can relax, now you're not chasing the dollar in your business. And you can pursue more of the passion in your business rather than how am I going to pay the bills, right? So I always encourage entrepreneurs to take a look at what are the opportunities that I can do that can grow my future? Now, here's the beautiful thing about my life. I've run several businesses. I'm a serial entrepreneur. All my businesses have been very successful. I'm very honored to say. But in the end, the thing that's retiring me, like the reason I don't have to work right now, I do it because I love to help women to succeed. But the reason I can be in that place is because of this part-time venture that I started with a long-term plan that's kind of been doing its thing in the background for years without much focus from me, so I could go play and do these other things, right? So from my experience, what I really want women to see is that we have so much power to to create stability and security for ourselves, but we just have to pay attention. The
Yeah.
hustle in our business is not necessarily going to be the thing that gives you security. You know, it'll give you a
Absolutely.
lot of other things.
Absolutely. And talking about, because I'm a big proponent in empowering women. So if you're not empowered in all 7 areas of your life, particularly financially, what happens is that, you know, someone or something will overpower you. And I've seen this play out to where, you know, a woman's disempowered, she's in a bad relationship, and she stays there because she doesn't have the financial means to get herself out of that situation. So that's why I'm a big advocate of creating your business, having multiple streams of income so that you're never relying on a man. I know one financial planner, I'm going to steal this from her, but the line that she had was so amazing. She said, "A man is not a plan." And that is brilliant. And it's so true. So as women, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. So why not empower yourself, create multiple streams of income? And I like what you said, Moneeka, having a strategy, because that's exactly what I take my clients through, planning it out. Not only the short-term vision, but what is it that you really want to have for the rest of your life? That is, you know, like you said, one of the most important things is supporting your lifestyle. I know you love traveling all around the world, and you said you traveled to over 55 countries.
Yes, that was my husband's and my ambition when we first got married.
That is so cool. That's like a bucket list.
I know, it is. We wanted to get to 50 countries by the time we were 50. I'm not 50. I
love it.
And we're so like past our goal. We're total overachievers.
That is cool. What is your favorite place that you've traveled to so far?
You know, I don't have a favorite place because every country is like beautiful in its own way. But I will say the places that I visited the most are France.
Yes, love France.
Yes, France and Greece and Italy.
Love
so those are the places that I've gone to several times. But I can't say that I've necessarily got a favorite. Those are just sort of the easiest for me to keep going back to.
That's awesome. You know, because a lot of times people will look at your life and say, well, you know, Moneeka, that sounds really great. I wish I could do that. But the other side is they're not willing to break through the fear because, you know, would you agree if you're going to invest in real estate or any business, you've got to break through that fear. And if you don't have a plan or a strategy, then you're going to stay stuck. So I also know that you've got the program. We talked about that, your mastermind, where you're helping women and couples worldwide. You know, you have an international business. So I think that's really cool. I want to talk about, because I know, you know, when you birthed this business, you had some challenges about following, you know, you're talking about choosing Bliss, following your unique formula and really saying, hey, this is how I want to represent my business. So what was the mindset for you in order to break through, to stay true to who you are and create the Blissful real estate investor formula?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So, Heather, you kind of know my journey.
Yes.
Excuse me. When I first started this business, I was so impassioned about empowering women. Like I was on a mission, man, right? And I did what everybody else does. I like signed up for every marketing course and I knew I was going to do all these things and I was working 18 hours a day. And I was so frustrated at the lack of results. Like, why didn't people understand what I had to offer, right? And then I took a step back and I was like, you know what? This is important, but it's not more important than my health, my relationships, and my joy, right? And so I had to step back from doing all of those things to really align with who I am and what's important to me, and then build my business again or focus more on the things that supported that. So I work less hours. You know, now I work like 6 to 8 hours a day. I take 8 to 12 weeks of vacation a year. I spend lots of yummy time with my husband and my cute little Pomeranian who I love. You know, I have lots of friends. So I aligned with the things that are important. And this is key to bliss. Like sometimes even I get carried away and I get pulled away from my base belief in choosing bliss in all areas of our life. And I need to pull myself back.
It's
And so,
true.
yeah.
We all get in our own way, myself included. It's not a perfect,
Yeah.
day to day. But I think the beauty of getting off balance, because I don't believe like, oh, you're going to be 100% balanced all the time. The beauty of getting off balanced is it's a redirect. And I always say, if you're following, you could say your bliss, but I say following your unique formula, following your La Dolce Vita life. If things are lining up and you have the health and vitality, the minute you get sick, what I always tell my clients is look to see where you're misaligned, where you need to kind of get a little bit clearer because you're pulling yourself in 50 million different directions.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and I'm living proof, as are you, that because you reach bliss does not mean that you're there. It's all part of the journey. The journey is the creation of the bliss, right? And it's important that we stay focused. I always tell people, bliss is like brushing your teeth. You got to focus on it every day or your teeth are going to fall out.
Yes.
Right? Your bliss will
true.
fall away if you're not paying attention. So,
Absolutely.
But it's so worth it.
Do you think women are better at, really being in their bliss? Because I look at, like, for example, I work with men and I look at my boyfriend. So he's a powerful CEO. And I look at him like handling and tackling the challenges in his company. And the way that he handles his stress, I feel like sometimes he doesn't have a strategy. And then what happens as a result, his body starts to break down. So I'm kind of like, I help him to balance him, get him back on track. We complement each other. But what is your experience with men and women, how they deal with the fear and deal with the stresses of their business or everyday life?
Okay, you're not going to like my answer. Men are so much better than us women in that.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean by this is that men, they'll like run themselves into the ground. And then one day they'll say, you know what? This is not okay. I need to change this. I need a strategy. And once a man makes a decision, he gets focused and he goes for it. He'll hire whoever he needs to hire. He will do whatever he needs to do. He will create a system and he will create success and he will experience what he's shooting for. Women, we're like, oh, I've got a million people to take care of. My clients need me. I have to work really long hours. If I'm blissful, if I'm paying too much time on my self-care, I'm not paying attention to the things that I should be doing. We experience a lot of guilt. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with how women are, because I am one, right? But but I just think that our compassion gets in the way, our compassion for others gets in the way for our compassion for ourselves. And so even when we know we're not happy, it's not working, we will not spend the time, energy, and money to fix the problem. Instead, we focus outside of ourselves and hope that will work, right? So
no, I like your answer. And that's, I do see that across the board and the difference in working with men. I'm like, this guy isn't having an emotional breakdown. Like, wow, if I was working with a woman and they were going through this challenge, they would. So it's interesting, but, as women, we are a little bit more emotional, and it's just, it's understanding how to balance it. That's what it comes down to.
That's right. And emotions are good. They give us a power that we can use to change the world. Like, it's awesome.
Yes.
It's just that bliss, like I say, is about emotional mastery, emotional resilience, and filling yourself up so that you do feel joy and contentment.
Absolutely. No, I definitely agree. Moneeka, I could be talking to you for like hours, but we're just about out of time. And before we go, I know you've got a free gift for women out there to really empower them in their finances with real estate investing. So can you share what that link is? And we'll also put it in the show notes.
Sounds great. So yes, so I want to empower women to create the financial foundation so that they can live the lives of their dreams. And I love real estate. So if you want to find out exactly what my strategy is, you can get a free download of sort of what I have done. And you could literally take that download and use it in your own life to create real estate bliss, if that's what you wanted to do. So the link is blissfulinvestor.com, and just download the free report. It's free.
Awesome. Yeah, I encourage women that are interested in diversifying multiple streams of income in their businesses. Check out Moneeka. She's the real deal, and she will give you personalized attention. Her clients get absolutely amazing results. And also, you're launching your podcast show. Before we go, I want to highlight that. It's called Real Estate Investing for Women. So really excited about that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So Moneeka, thank you so much for sharing your formula and choosing Bliss.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. This was really fun.
My pleasure. Until next time, this is Heather Picken. Follow your formula. Live what I call your La Dolce Vita life. And the importance of this show is getting it out there to women, entrepreneurs, women professionals. So make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe, because that's how we get the message out there. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye. So if you found this show to be fabulous, share with your fabulous friends, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. And I'll make sure I take a beatbox lesson, right? Or give my little chihuahua a bone. That's me. Fabulous.